Good evening, Ponto de Luz. I'm so glad to have you here to study the Spirit's book. It has been always a wonderful opportunity for us to study the first book of the codification, the Spirit's book. Before we start, let's start with our prayer. Dear God, we thank you, Lord, for bringing us together here tonight in good health, in peace, in harmony, safe. We ask you, Lord, to bless and protect every home that now is connected with us for this study. And may the light here also shine for the whole humanity, all the places that need your love. With your permission, Lord, we open the study of this evening with your blessings. So be it. So be it. We are so happy to be together, right? I love that Thursdays have become to me a very special evening because everything that we read and we study on this study during Thursday evenings, I sort of carry these through these questions through the week, and it's so useful in many situations that arise. And today we're going to go to question 120. These next few questions on the Spirit's book, they have so much information and so much content about obsession, about free will. So they're very, very important to our knowledge. And it's the freedom is that image that the Spirits brought us, right? It's like a bird with two wings, the wing of love, the wing of knowledge. You need both to be free, to fly. So let's strengthen our wing tonight. Question 120. Must all spirits pass through the trial of evil to reach the good? Must all spirits pass through the trial of evil to reach good? We studied that before, right? And the answer is not evil, but ignorance. So, this is the thing. When we study back the characteristics of God, God's attributes, the attributes of God, we understand that one of them, which is one that, in my humble opinion, um, is so important for us to understand divinity as it is. God is supremely just and good. So creating the spirits good or evil would not be just, right? So all spirits are created in ignorance. And then that's what we're going to develop today. Free will. Even though in the spiritual world we have a very detailed programming of our existence here in a physical body. These are like a map, and how you're going to take the roads is your free will. It's like it's raining outside. That's Let's put that metaphor. It's raining outside. That's destiny. If you're going to use an umbrella or not, that's your free will. So I hope it's clear, but we're going to go over this today. So it's really important that we started on this, because God, being just and good, would not set one in evil and one in goodness. The path is our choice. We have free will. So The answer is not evil, but ignorance. Question 121. Why have some spirits followed the path of goodness, but others the path of evil? And then the answer is, don't they have free will? God does not create any spirits evil from the start. They are created simple and ignorant. That is, capable of both good and evil. Those who are evil have become so through their own will. And we all know that eventually going through uh, the path of evil, but getting hurt and understanding and acquiring the experiences necessary to its progress, the spirits all are destined to perfection and light. So even we have gone through so many mistakes and so many difficulties in previous lives in this life. Can you compare yourself as you are today with yourself when you were a teenager? Rebellious, complaining, not disciplined. Can you compare? No. And we do not even have to go that far. Can you compare yourself to your own self back in March last year? I think that was a lot of progress made this year, right? We understood the meaning of things in so much more depth in 2020. We talked about God, we went to the center, we had our passy, our healing, we had everything, and we were living our lives. But when the pandemic um, bloomed or came through, we were forced to review our plans, our projects, the way we chose to live, and some are still struggling. A lot of people are still struggling in how to adjust to the new reality. We are in constant change, progress. Our body is completely new. Our cells, they they renew themselves. Our organs, everything is constantly moving forward. And so when the question 121 talks about free will, I love a story of the two twins, right? There were two twins that were given to adoption because they were in an abusive home. That's just a little story to illustrate that for us. And I think it really fits well. And then the two twins were abused by the parents, and the father was an alcoholic and used to abuse the kids, um, beating them up. They were given to adoption in different homes. One of them um, was adopted by a loving family, and in spite of that, didn't choose the path of goodness, went and created some situation and was arrested and was in jail for a while and struggled all his life. The other one was also raised and adopted by a loving family, and he became a doctor, and he became a person that helped others. So in these two lives, when we questioned, when one of them was questioned, the one that was in jail was questioned about why he chose that, he said, well, my father was an alcoholic. He used to beat me. This is why I became what I became. And then the other one that became a doctor, when he was asked the same question, He was like, well, I was raised in a very tough situation. My father was abusive. He used to beat me, and I wanted so badly to live in a different reality. So I put all my strength to help people and to be different and to create for myself a different route, a different story. And this, my friends, is a very good example of free will. You can use your growing pains, your experiences to make yourself, to bury yourself alive in things that don't belong there, or you can use that to grow and to choose the path of goodness. Free will, right? We Brazilians know that story of the donkey, right? They tried to take the donkey out of the hole, and the hole was so deep, and the donkey, they try to put cords and they try to do everything to get that donkey out. And when they gave up, they said, oh, that's it, we're gonna just bury it, so let's just end his suffering by burying it, throwing some dirt, some soil on it. And as they were putting the dirt, the donkey was finding, shaking it off and moving forward and going up. More dirt, he was shaking it off and going up until one point that he was out by himself. So even when the situation is not favorable or is not ideal or is not in created by someone that meant you good, you can always transform it and create it, like the twin that became the doctor. And that is free will. I hope it's a good explanation. That was what comes to mind for me, and it always helps me not to find excuses in my life. I was talking to Gustavo and Nina before we start here, and I was just telling them this. I was reading this passage on this book, this little book, Momentos de Coragem, of Joanna de Angelis, and the commitment, the responsibility that we have to do our part. No one has to do it for us. We have to do it for us. We have to pick up the pace and do what we have to do. No one will do that for us. It's our responsibility, right? So, free will. It's faster or slower. We studied that last class. It's faster or slower depends on you. If you decide you're going to move faster, bravo. If you decide that you're going to move slower, and that's your choice too. Free will. Question 122. At their origin, how are spirits free to choose between good and evil when they are not yet conscious of themselves? So how they choose if they're not conscious. Is there some inner principle or tendency that leads them more towards one side than the other? And the answer is, the spirits gave Kardec this answer. Free will develops as the spirit acquires self-awareness. Period. I never read this question like I read it right away, right now. Free will develops as the spirit acquires self-awareness. We've been talking so much about self-awareness. I think it's been a topic for every single person that I know that is involved in participating in this transition that we're going through now, the planetary transition, in so many different religions. I'm not even talking about spiritists or even Christians. I'm talking about self-awareness being the point, the turning point. And this is what the Spirits book says. This is so amazing. I'm going to put it out. That's one to put in the refrigerator, right? Free will develops as the spirit acquires self-awareness. So when we understand, that's when we are able to make choices. And when we understand ourselves, then the path will open. You start doing the inner search. You start with that. And then the answers will come. Um, I will bring to you a next class. I don't have it right here on me. Oh, but it's kind of like this. And I was very impressed by this saying. Was one something that I was listening about with Deepak Chopra. You don't become good wanting to become good. You become good finding the goodness that is within. Isn't that what we just read? Amazing. There would be no actual choice. There would be no actual choice if it were made by a cause extraneous to the spirit's will. The cause is not within the spirits, but outside, in the influences to which it yields in virtue of its free will. This is the great symbol of the fall of humankind in original sin. Some yielded to temptation and others resisted it. So the more you know yourself, the more you get the self-awareness, the more capable you're going to be of yielding to temptation or resisting it. And we can use the word temptation here in a different way, not in the way of sin and something. No, we're not about that. We're about understanding choices and intention, right? So when we decide how we're gonna um, start our day, we start our day in prayer, we start our day in meditation, we start our day and throughout the day, because it's not like the way you start your day you're going to end the day. Sometimes things happen through the day that you have to just make a pause, meditate for a bit, pray and understand and refresh and then come back, right? We have the participation of the spirits that decide or not to be around us according to what we are feeling, thinking, and doing, right? If I take pleasure in lying, in gossiping, I will have company of spirits that have the same pleasure, gossiping, lying, and they're going to be around me. If I take pleasure in reading and studying, in praying, the spirits that are going to be most of the time around me are going to be these ones. But there will be cases or instances that we get something that happens that lowers our vibration, that makes us sad, makes us angry, right? So when those things happens, there are opportunities for those spirits that are connected with that energy to come closer to us. And this is what we call, if that persists through time, obsession. So when we're influenced by other spirits that don't want to see us going on the path of goodness. And this subject has tons of books. Sueli Caldas Schubert has wonderful books. Manuel Filomeno de Miranda, Nas Fronteiras da Loucura, explains a lot, and so many others, right? So, and in order for us to, so the self-awareness even prevents us from being, so when you feel like, let me see if I can get an example here. Um, you're usually in a good mood, you're usually in a peaceful mode, but sometimes out of the blue you feel like stressed and not happy, and some thoughts cross your mind that are, you understand those are not your thoughts. You understand there is some energy around you that is instilling that type of thought or situation, and if you give in to it, that person will remain there and will remaining trying to get you to, I'm doing this with my hand and you're not seeing. So the spirit will try multiple times. If you resist to that process, then having good habits, having good energy, trying to maintain a healthy life, not healthy in one aspect of it, in a wholesome life, right? Um, these spirits will not keep on trying to get you. They will give up. They will say, "Oh, that one, no, she's boring. She just prays too much. Let's go find somewhere else to be." And that's true. We say it in a humorous way, but it's absolute true, and we're gonna read it. Where do the influences that act upon spirits come from? This is the sub question within question 122. From imperfect spirits who seek to involve and dominate them and who delight at making them succumb. Exactly what we explained here. This is what is represented in the allegory of Satan. And then another sub question on this same question, 122. Does the influence only act upon a spirit when it first comes into being? So they're asking that because they're asking about being created ignorant and following the path of evil. So they're asking if it only happens on when it first comes into being. And the answer was, it follows the spirit over the course of its existence until it has acquired so much self-control that evil spirits do not bother it any longer. And I read it again. It follows the spirit over the course of its existence until it has acquired so much self-control that evil spirits do not bother it any longer. It's so easy. If I don't like a certain type of music, I'm not gonna go to a concert that plays that music, right? So if I like another type, I love Yanni. So on a Yanni concert, there are not gonna be people that don't like Yanni. It's it's obvious. And the same thing happens. So depending on how we choose to live, on how we conduct our daily lives, this is what we're gonna attract. And the more you persist in goodness, the more and the better you get at it. Trust me, it's a daily, daily, daily. You have to persist. You can never give up on the path of goodness. Teresa, Teresa of Avila, Teresa of Jesus, we're going to speak about her on Tuesday evening. Teresa prayed for 18 years without getting to that communion of spirit that she later in life found. But she never gave up. 18 years without giving up on prayer, on the prayer of silence, the prayer of quiet. And eventually, that moment came, and she was able to understand the prayer of union, the union with the divine. But if she gave up on her attempts to reach that place, vibrational state, she wouldn't be there. So we choose. Free will. We choose. Remember the twins. You can use the things that happen to you as an excuse, or you can use the rocks on the way to build your castle, right? And the choice is always ours. So next class, we're going to go on question 123. And this is also about choosing the path of evil. Question 123 will be our study next Thursday. So I hope we can use what we learned today to make good choices for this week. to not to let anything that disrupt your good energy remain there. Chico Xavier used to say that you can have a bird fly over your head. Letting it create a nest on it, it's your choice. So it's much easier for us to just shush away the bad thoughts, the bad feelings. Don't give time for people that want to gossip. Not necessary. We don't need that anymore. We need to find things that make us better, self aware, enlightened every day, right? So let's finish our study of tonight with our prayer. Being so grateful to the Lord that brought us together tonight in peace, in love, in harmony, in good health. And for all our brothers and sisters that left the physical body, we ask you, Lord, to have them with their familiar spirits, taking care of them. To the ones that are not in good health at this point, we ask you, Lord, and Virgin Mary, and the good spirits, to protect them and comfort those families. And we ask you, Lord, to protect and guide us through this whole week until we meet again next Thursday. And with your permission, we end the study of tonight. So be it. Let's do better. Let's use our free will and be grateful. That's our part. We'll see you on Tuesday, talking about Teresa of Jesus, Teresa de Jesus. And we'll see you on Thursday with the Spirit's Book. Thank you, and have a nice evening. Thank you, guys.